Hello, what is up, everybody? My name is Mario Pichardo. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a story that came out of Breitbart that was all over Lauren Southern's Twitter account earlier. So she comes out and she posts a documentary people have been waiting on for a long time. She essentially has been telling people, a lot of people have been waiting for her documentary Borderless, that comes out and tries to explain the situation that's happening in Europe between migrants who are trying to come in and the EU's policy to keep their borders open. And so Lauren spends months and months and months developing this documentary, putting it out there for people. And when she posts it on YouTube, what she finds is that it doesn't show up in her upload page. People are messaging her back saying, hey, we can't see it. We can't find it. Where is it? Did you sure you posted it? And she actually even goes into, I think, her like deleted videos or something like that. Or no, she puts it in a playlist and people even find it there saying that the video was deleted. And so it's a little weird because her subscribers weren't notified that the video went out. It's kind of like, it's strange because all of these kind of systems of YouTube all fail at once, where it's like no one saw it, no one got notified of it, it's coming up as deleted, no one's seeing it. And the issue with that is not only do people not get to see it when it comes out, but according to what I understand from YouTube's algorithm, if that first hour of engagement is the most important. So if you can't, if people don't see that, if people aren't engaging with your content when you post it, then the chances are that video is not going to get a lot of views based off of how YouTube works. Now, Lauren reached out and she tried to contact YouTube, and they told her that it was an accident, or there was probably just some kind of mistake or some kind of issue, so that she should contact this other team. Now, I'm not sure that she got anywhere with that. She ended up posting she ended up taking the video down because there was kind of a processing error, and she was saying that, it's funny that YouTube is telling me that it was a processing error 12 hours after it got uploaded, because that's apparently what she found, or what she was told. And so it's just strange. It's just weird. YouTube's been censoring a lot of people, a lot of conservatives. We don't know for sure that this is YouTube's doing. I guess there is a chance it could be just a freak accident, just like a really weird thing. But it seems unlikely, only because, to have all of these systems all fail at once. And for this one particular video, as far as I understand, it hasn't happened to Lauren at any other time. And the documentary is very political, in a very politically charged, censorship-based environment right now. So I think I wouldn't fault anybody for thinking that, YouTube is trying to censor, or was trying to censor, her video. But thankfully, Lauren was able to put up a version of it. She had an emergency backup that she put up so that people are aware. Actually, after that controversy, I went to watch the video myself because, that's like the whole Streisand effect, right? That when someone tries to cover something up, it makes people even more curious about it. And so I was reading through some of the comments, and a lot of other people did the same thing. And the documentary was interesting because it's very neutral. I mean, it's not saying that immigrants should not be coming to Europe, but it's also not saying that they should be. She goes back and forth between migrants and political officials, talking to people on the ground who run the camps, facilitate the camps, even some people who smuggle, who are actually the smugglers who are bringing people across illegally, some people who got in through asylum. And so she really kind of covers every angle there. And what you really get from the film is that okay, well, there's really two sides to this. It isn't even really about should the migrants come in or not. It's just the fact that this system just doesn't work at all. The people who are getting into Europe, not all of them, but a lot of them aren't the poorest people. That the people that really would have needed the asylum, they're people who had money and then they thought that this would be a better opportunity for them. Like a lot of them are economic migrants, not migrants out of uh, actual need for care, actual need for threat of being harmed or attacked. Now that's not all of them. They're not all coming over as economic migrants, but a lot of them are. And unfortunately, they're not finding jobs. They're finding it very difficult. And the people that Lauren interviewed, they even told her, you know, I would have been happy if I stayed back at home because there's no jobs in France for me, or a lot of these other people came from Africa. And so it's interesting. I mean, it's a great documentary for sure. I definitely recommend people check it out. Now, the issue with YouTube, I mean, the more that YouTube does this, the worse things are going to get for them. It's not going to get better. People are not going to turn around and say, "Oh, okay, you know what? Censorship was good. You know, we should have followed you all the way." People are waking up, and people are paying attention to it. And I mean, whatever side of the political aisle you find yourself on, don't think that it isn't going to eventually come to you, because when they started kind of doing this stuff with Alex Jones, which is really the big one, because that was like Apple and Google and Facebook and everybody took them off, everybody. Um, that was kind of the first flag, and then people started saying they're going to do this. He's the test bed, and because people didn't freak out about that, they started taking more people off. And then Facebook started, and the whole fake news got to deplatform people and things came from. And now YouTube's changing their algorithm and blocking other people, and now starting to spread. So now it's not only people who are like fringe conspiracy theorist types, but now it's also encompassing people who are closer to the center, people who are kind of closer being moderates. And that's kind of scary, because Facebook came out a little while ago and said that you either agree with us on certain topics, on certain issues, or you're not allowed to post about it, which is kind of scary, because if you're someone who's apolitical, someone who isn't involved in politics at all, those people are now being dragged into the conversation to say whether or not they're really being forced to choose. And so it's weird. We're kind of starting to step into this world where people actually cannot have, according to Facebook, open conversations about things. And it's strange, because Facebook has, I think it's over 3 billion or something like that, 2 or 3 billion active users across all of its platforms. And when you have that kind of power, I mean, that's such a huge percentage of the human population that it's like Facebook really has control over conversations that are happening around humanity, around different ideas that people care about from different nations. And they have a lot of influence on elections, for example. And so it's weird. I don't know, but I think it's something we need to pay attention to. I think that we need to establish an internet bill of rights where people can have the opportunity to say, to share ideas or opinions, even though other people may disagree with them, because the whole point of people understanding each other, getting the opportunity to find common ground and to, well, literally just have conversations, is being stripped away. It's becoming either you agree with me or you're out. And to do that to such a huge percentage of the population is, I think very worrying, very troublesome, because Twitter has that same power too. Twitter could just go by and say, okay, well, you know what? And they have been to a large degree. Oh, you don't agree with our political stance on what hate speech is, then none of you can post anything on Twitter. And if we think of Twitter as kind of like where the news is shared, where ideas are spread, then and everybody who has a different perspective is cut out, then really what the majority of people or all the majority of people are going to see is kind of this left-wing fringe idea of what society is or ought to be, or kind of that lens of like, say, feminism, for example, but they don't see the other side of it or what feminism has become in the third wave. And so it's troubling. The I think that when you try to hide things from people through censorship, it I think that the people have the right to make their own decisions about what they can or cannot see, and that we shouldn't be deciding what's best for other people when they're grown adults. For example, a lot of the people uh, who go on these websites, but even if they're not, who who are we to decide? And it becomes a very slippery slope, because then it could just be like, okay, but I just don't like this person because they're my competitor, banned. And so it's like Facebook does with Minds. You can't post anything about Minds, and then people say, well, it's a private platform, so they can do that. And it's like, well, what happens when Facebook starts? Because Facebook talked about this recently, that they want to start incorporating a cryptocurrency on the website. Well, then what happens when Facebook gets so large that they control if Facebook ends up controlling a big part of finance and banking? Are they just allowed to cut people out who have their services? Oh, well, we're a private organization, so you can't buy anything unless you agree with our opinions. And so it's kind of like, and it sounds ridiculous, but that's kind of where this is going. I mean, Facebook's platform, Facebook owns Instagram, it owns Facebook, and it owns WhatsApp, three huge communication platforms or media platforms in general. And they think they have at least, I think it's like 2 billion users. That's insane. And so I don't know. I think there's something we got to do here. This YouTube censorship is kind of scary, and because of how the algorithm works over there at YouTube, I I I I I'm not saying that they did it, because there's no proof that they did it, but going off of what they've done in the past, it absolutely seems like a censorship, whether you want to call it soft censorship or whatever, like they do in this article. Um, it's just strange. It's just strange. Here's someone who says you were right. When you try adding it to your favorites, it shows up as a deleted video. That's so weird. It's so weird. And here she goes. She says it's saying the video stopped processing, so it stopped processing 12 hours after it was available and fully updated in 4K. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just a weird story. But yeah, so if you guys liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you guys loved it, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you're notified the next time we post a video that goes live, and be sure to comment. Any kind of engagement tells YouTube this is a great video, and that lets them know that they should share it and kind of spread the word about it. So with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.